one of the biggest talking points from this weekend, of course, is Punk getting A-Rap money. Um, I guess for me, it always felt like a matter of when
Yeah.
and not if. Once he went back over there, I was like, okay, you're signing up for everything that comes with being with WWE at this point. Once you go back over there, he's gonna go to Saudi Arabia. I don't care what he said before. I don't care what people think. It doesn't matter. I personally never wanted him to go back because of this reason and other reasons. But once he made that decision, I was like, oh yeah, he'll be in Saudi. It's only a matter of time. And I I'm pretty sure if you go back to the episode where we talked about it when he first went over there, I was like, not looking forward to that. Not looking forward to the discourse around that.
I remember.
But here we are because I knew it was going to happen. It just was inevitable. And if I remember correctly, his contract is a 3-year deal because he came back in November of 2023. So I think he's technically in a contract year because his contract is up next November
Right.
2026. So
Mhm.
you're in a contract year and you're trying to sign a new contract. You're not going to say no to going to Saudi. And I know that's what people are going to do. Well, you could always say no. If you are over there because this is probably your last chance at a big contract in wrestling, this is your last chance to wrestle for two of the biggest promotions in wrestling, you're not going to say no to going to Saudi.
Yeah, I feel like when he signed that contract, it was written in the stars. Like, I feel like it was one of the clauses, like, well, if you come over
Yeah.
here, you come over here. If you're a big star over there, Phil, you're gonna go over there. That's just how it works in these times. They book big matches around these big stars. They expect these people. When he was in the video package, like, we all knew kind of what time it was, and people kind of changing, people getting super mad when they kind of officially announce it. Is like, but we already kind of knew this was going to happen, though.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of at with it. Now, does that stop me from being disappointed that he decided to go back over there and do Saudi shows, especially after some stuff that he said about going to Saudi Arabia? Yeah, I still think it's disappointing. I still think that he hasn't properly addressed the criticism of him going back over there after he criticized that company for years. Because at this point, there's really nothing he can say that makes it look good.
Mm-mm.
Like
I mean,
I saw
he's
people
been there.
saying,
He's doing everything at this point.
yeah, I saw people saying in response to both his promos this week that, oh, well, he never addressed any of the allegations of him being a hypocrite. And I'm like, yeah, but there's no way he can address it at all and sound good.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't, like, because at this point it is what it is. The sellout thing is going to be the thing people hold over him now. But we knew that when he signed back. Once he signed back over there was no getting around that. Now, do I think it's funny that they felt like they had to break the glass and hit the button to get Punk involved in this because this Cena heel turn has been floundering? Absolutely think that is very funny.
Mm-hmm.
And that very much showed on Monday because it was like, hey, have this guy come out and Cena, at least from the way I read that promo on Raw and the promo last night, I was like, oh, he shifted gears in his heel turn. Have you noticed this?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we talked about it a few Grapsodies ago about when it does get to Punk, that's when it's really going to get into high gear. And it's funny that they were like, let's go with that, because we knew that Punk was going to be able to bring something out of him that no one else was. And that's exactly what's happening.
Well, I think Monday in particular, I was like, this is a very Triple H promo. Just him coming out and saying, you guys are all marks, you guys are all idiots. Like, you guys think you can go on the internet and change things. I was like, where have I heard this before? It sounded very much Triple H. And then he went
He
with
said
the
all
whole
of that in a press conference, I think, before.
yeah, then he went with the whole angle of I'm smarter than everybody else. I'm a genius. I'm playing everybody. And I was like, where have I heard this before? This also sounds like Triple H. This sounds like time to play the game, Triple H.
Yep.
So I do think that was the right turn for this character because they're just coming out and still doing all the "you people suck" and "I'm only doing this to ruin wrestling because you guys never treated me the way I was supposed to be treated." I think that was the right move because that was wearing thin. And to be honest with you, I had been saying it. I have been saying it for like 3 weeks now. Like, I'm gonna give this some time. I was ready to come in and blast this thing because for a few weeks I was like, this is like one of the worst things on wrestling television.
Yeah.
It's not good. And I do think for this week it showed some change, not because I think that Cena has gotten better in his heel turn. I think it's because they hit the nostalgia button. They were like, "We need you, Punk," because this is not going anywhere. But also, I think it helped that when he first turned heel, it felt like they were doing the check the boxes thing. Okay, we got to do the Orton match. We got to do the R-Truth match. We got to eventually get to the Cena match. I mean, the Punk match. But like right now, it feels like it should feel that this guy's saying he wants to ruin wrestling. He wants to take this championship and go away. He has the top prize in the company. Everybody is coming after him now. And you saw that Thursday when you had 3 people coming out and gunning for him, LA Knight even coming out for him. I was like, this is how it should be. Him just coming out and doing these "you people" promos and nobody in the back comes out and says anything. I was like, that doesn't really hit.
Yeah, I hate when that's a thing. Like the Hurt Syndicate are pretty infamous for this now. It feels like an AEW where they're like, there ain't a bad motherfucker back there. Nobody could do anything. Y'all are all trash. And then nobody comes and challenges them. And you're like, well, maybe they're right. And Cena's was doing that same thing for a long time. Like, nobody in the back ever had my back. All you people suck, everything, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, everybody's going to just sit back and let this guy talk like this. Randy Orton kind of started to put the cracks in it. And I think they saw what was going on with that. And they were like, yeah, let's just continue with that thing, because him just coming out here and being like, this is all your fault can only go so far, and it went as far as it could go. So they definitely needed to push the button and get it to. I didn't think they would get to Punk so quickly. Like, I thought maybe at SummerSlam they were going to get to it, but I totally understand why we're here.
I think they pushed the button so quickly because this thing has been not good. And I also feel like that's part of the reason I didn't expect Cody to be back this soon either. But I think it's also because this stuff has not been good.
Yeah, because when Cody came back at Saturday Night's Main Event, I was like, this feels a little bit early.
Yeah, this Cena stuff has been it's been not good. But I think at least this week it's been better than it has been. But I think it's because he's had better people in the segments with him to work off of. I mean, Punk is one of his best rivals. So you put those two guys in the ring together, you're going to have nostalgia. And there's something about Punk, like, he just kind of brings out the best in Cena. And I think just having the flip dynamics of Cena being the heel and Punk being on the other side, I think that helps.
How do you feel about what feels like Cena's been workshopping different heel personas? Because we're on his like third attempt at trying to do this heel thing. Do you think this one's gonna stick?
Well, I said this in our group chat, and I believe I said on social media, because we kept hearing this during the Jey Uso stuff, which we'll get into Jey Uso in a minute. When people were saying they didn't like Jay winning the Royal Rumble and they were getting all the dislikes on the YouTube video, we kept hearing the same thing. The internet don't matter, guys. Listen to the people that are at the shows. Buddy, I never want to hear the internet don't matter again. I never want to hear that again. That's officially dead. Cena spent this entire week in promos talking to the internet. I don't want to hear that again. Then on top of that, all of the R-Truth stuff, talking to the internet again. Triple H got in that press conference, dog. I don't ever want to hear that this company don't care about the internet again.
When I saw Hikuleo came out last night, another one, I'm like, you know what? They say they keep saying they don't listen to the internet. This isn't a thing. The internet don't matter, but they keep doing things to please the internet. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that no more. You can't do that no more. But I think that they went a very interesting route with this Cena and Punk stuff. And I don't know, man. So initially, when Cena cut the promo on Monday, and Punk came out. I was like, "Oh, we're already here.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting." And I did think they did a smart thing with the R-Truth stuff, which we'll get into Ryan as well. But I think his response to the R-Truth stuff of him saying like, "You think this is what it is? You think reviving this guy's career is gonna do it? This guy is irrelevant. The only time this guy has mattered is when he's been cosplaying as me." I was like, "Oh, okay, this promo is actually going pretty good." That's why I was like, the Monday promo, I was like, "Oh, this sounds close to the bite I want him to have as a heel." And so when Punk came out, I was like, "Oh, we might actually we might have some motion."
Mm-hmm.
And then Punk came out and threw some jabs at him when he threw out the, "What are you mad because the establishment picked you and the people never picked you?" I was like, "Let's go. We're here. Let's go." And then we ended that promo with, "All right, man, meet me in Saudi Arabia here." I was like,
Probably not the route I would have went, but I get it. Saudi's giving up money for these main events, you guys. Big money.
that was a very deflating end to that segment because I thought the segment was good. And it could be nostalgia working on me, of course, Punk bias. Also, like the time period when I really got back into wrestling was when these guys were at the peak of their feud. So no, nostalgia worked on me that night, and I was like, "Yes, we're here." And then Saudi Arabia, I was like, "That's where you're doing that match. You can just do it at Money in the Bank."
It just happened. It was just right there. It would have been the nostalgia button really would have been hit if we would have saw this match at Money in the Bank.
So yeah, I didn't feel good about that. But then also the inkling I got from this of him saying, "Hey man, I hear you. You're so upright. You're so self-righteous. You're all of these things. So all right, well, cool. You want a title shot? Meet me in Saudi Arabia." And I was like, that's an interesting choice to have your heel point out that your baby face is a hypocrite, one, and then also you're pointing out that the rest of the company that also is going to Saudi Arabia is open for criticism. That's an interesting choice to have your heel do when this company is very much in bed with Saudi Arabia. I don't know how well that works. And then he fully leaned into it because he posted that picture of The Miz on his IG after that, which, of course, everybody has been posting the screenshots of Punk's Miz tweet from years ago. And so it just, I don't know how well that works. And so we got the promo last night, which, again, when it's just the Punk and Cena stuff and none of the Saudi stuff is in the mix, they've got something to hide here. Because when he initially came back there and was calling out for R-Truth and Punk's music hit instead, and that pop was loud, I was like, yo, what's going on? So he comes out and he's cutting a promo. He's like, look, you don't have to do this, man. I know you. You don't want to do this. Stop what you're doing and just let the fans appreciate you on your way out. And we could just move on. You don't have to do this. And Cena's still doing this. I'm a genius thing. I'm puppeteering this, and he's like, man, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you talking about? You're gonna ruin wrestling, and you're gonna take the belt and go away. Why does that sound? That sounds like me. You're trying to do what I already did. And when they panned the camera back, and I realized that Cena was wearing a ringer tee, I was like, that's really good. That's really good. All great. But then we're going back to the Saudi thing of him saying, well, you got to admit you're a hypocrite because you go to Saudi, like go have the match with me. And Punk is still leaning into this, holding the belt makes me a monster. And I'm willing to be a monster if that means saving wrestling from you. But again, some of this don't really make sense because you're also saying everybody else that is willing to go to Saudi Arabia is doing something wrong then.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the whole thing of him being like, I'm evil. I'm going to force you to go to Saudi. It's like, well, hold on. Isn't it supposed to be like this great big Riyadh season thing? Like it's supposed to be like a happy occasion, but you're making it like Punk's the craziest person in the world for going back on what he says. And again, playing to what you said, Phil, this is totally internet stuff. Like if if I don't know about this Punk stuff, what are you guys talking about? You know?
Yeah. A ringer tee boycott. If you don't understand what I'm saying, the most popular CM Punk shirt ever is the white ringer tee with Best in the World in it. It's the same shirt that AEW eventually mimicked when he came back to wrestling. When John Cena was cutting that promo, because he's been doing the different t-shirts in every city, he's in Kentucky, he had on a ringer tee. I was like, that's pretty smart. And it had to be intentional. There's no way that wasn't intentional.
Yeah, no, they have. I think with this feud, it feels like they're being more intentional with things and trying to hit beats and points that hit the nostalgic bone. It's working.
Yeah. But also to the point of them cutting this promo, and by the end, Punk is just like, nah, man, I will follow you to hell. I'll follow you to Mars if it's just to kick your ass and get that title off of you. And all of the stuff was hitting. And he said the same thing I said. He said, man, nah, man, this is what they always do for you. John Cena's not interesting. Get Punk in there. Make this retirement tour palatable. And I was like, nah, he might be cooking right now, because
that's real.
This is not hidden. But him saying all of that, and the crowd is just cheering everything he's saying. Him saying I don't support billionaires, but also doing Saudi, and I don't support billionaires. I'm not an establishment guy, but also doing things that make him look like a sellout. You would think that crowd would boo him, because of course those things, when you really think about it long enough, don't make sense. But that crowd don't care, man.
Don't care
that crowd did not care at all. And this is why I'm like, man, there's a disconnect. The audience isn't the same. This isn't the same rebellious WWE fans. They're in for whatever they're selling you. They don't care.